Ha! Back at it again. New day, new year, new me, new hat, new job, new. I don't know. Only some of that is true. I started going off. Anywho, I was sitting here, sitting on my couch, watching TV as life was passing me by, and I realized during the whole course of this Vlogsmas so far, I have not actually talked about anything legitimately Christmas related. So I figured I'd do that today since I don't really feel like doing or talking about anything else. And for the most part, I like Christmas. Christmas is cool. Obviously, as I've gotten older, I've, gotten a different relationship with it. When you're younger, it's just about, what can I get? What can I get? All these things I want. I want to get it. And, I have a lot of good memories as far as that. Good Christmases as far as stuff I did get and everything. And other stuff related to that. So I definitely have good memories of Christmas. In my adult years, though, obviously I've been thinking about it differently across the board. There's been a lot of Christmases since I've been on my own where I've had to work or be somewhere at like an official related thing. And just in general, ever since I think it's going on a decade, I've been more or less celebrating Christmas by myself or somewhat with roommates or different people I'm kind of close to, but for the most part my Christmases have been solo for like going on the last like 8 to 9 years or whatever. And that whole thing was really interesting. The first few years, obviously it kind of hit me a little bit hard because I'm used to being around not only my immediate family that I'm used to seeing all the time anyway, but then also that's when the extended family is either coming to town or we're going to their houses or this, that, and the third. So that was definitely an adjustment, just kind of getting used to that. And then you know other stuff happens along the way just as you kind of grow up and grow away from certain people, but then also grow more into yourself. A lot of different growth happening in different directions that can change things as well. Change your relationships with people or the amount of closeness you feel and all of that. Yeah, it's just life is really interesting like that. It's really around the holidays where stuff is a lot more family and just togetherness oriented, and B, as it's kind of like the year-end stuff, it has me really thinking about it just really has me thinking about a lot of things. It makes me very introspective. So I just think about my past, where I am now, and then obviously where I want to go, my Danny Phantoms of Christmas past, present, and future as it were. So that's always interesting and everything. I will say for the first time in a long time, though, for multiple reasons across multiple different, aspects of life, I'm a lot more excited and a lot more hopeful for my future than I have been in the past. There's been a lot of times up until recently where I feel like I've had at least one of the things that I've wanted, but then not had other things that I've wanted in other capacities, or not been in places and spaces where I thought I should be by that point. That's a pretty wide-reaching thing I can delve into at a later time or on later videos. It's been an interesting journey. It's been an interesting growth journey. And I will admit, this particular year is probably the first time since I kind of, moved away from home and from my immediate family. This year in particular is the first year I felt like any real semblance of what they call Christmas joy and all of that. So that's been good. That's been nice. And there are definitely things and people that I can attribute to that, and that I have attributed to that. So that's been cool. I would say for me personally, been the best overall year of my adult life so far. I know it's only going to get better, but if it does get better than this year has been, like across the board, then I'm really going to have to mentally prepare myself for that, because so many things. This year was really good for me. And I might do a proper year end to wrap up to some degree at some point. Not totally sure yet. Yeah, I'm thankful. And that all ties back into kind of how I think about Christmas and the holidays now, where for me it really is just about, for one, recognizing and acknowledging, all the stuff that I've done and all the efforts that I've put in. I'm like the first person. I'm the quickest person to tell you, oh, I'm being lazy, or I'm acting lazy, or I am lazy. And I definitely do have lazy aspects to me, don't get me wrong. But I've really been trying to do better about acknowledging the fact that I am quite a hardworking fella. I can always, in my opinion, work even harder. I can always, up the ante in that aspect. That's not to say that's not worth acknowledging how hard I do work, though, because, I do. I keep up with, all my schooling and my classes and stuff. That's going good. Now more than ever, I'm really zeroing in and locking in on, like, my personal goals as far as, like, my projects and ambitions and different things I want to do and people I want to connect and collab with, this, that, and the third. I'm really going after that more doggedly than I ever in life, and I'm not allowing myself to get discouraged like I have in the past. As far as, like, I think I see it more as like a privilege than a right, because I guess I used to think of it as a right, where it's like, oh, I have the right to be creative and to make things and do all these fun things, and I have a right to be successful at it and for people to help me with it and this, that. And it's really, I mean, it's sort of true in the sense that, yes, everyone has the right to be creative, but that doesn't guarantee you the right to success or certain doors being open to you or certain benefits of it being rewarded to you. That's not what it's for, and that's not what it's about. And for a long time, I kind of thought about it in the wrong way, strictly because I kind of wanted to be irresponsible in a sense. Like, I just wanted to, oh, well, I see all these other people gaining this success and these accolades and this cash flow. So it's like, and I consider them to be terrible people. So it's like, well, if I just come at it, and since I'm a pure-hearted person for the most part, I can just put out the same energy into the world, but from a more positive spin, and stuff will go 5 times as good for me. Not the case. Not the case at all. Very rude awakening for me. A needed one, though. A very needed one. So that's been an interesting journey. And now I kind of think of it as, no, it really is a privilege to be able to do this. And now that I'm kind of moving with it with that energy, it's given me a lot more confidence and comfortability kind of moving in these spaces where it's like, I had to realize what I love doing, why I love doing it, and to do it only for that. Because the minute I start getting focused on anything outside of that, as it pertains to creativity or just my personal definitions of success, that's when stuff starts getting a little bit wonky, and I start getting super burnt out super quick, super discouraged, and stuff just kind of falls off. So I'm glad I was able to reframe my mind around that and realize how much it's really not about me. Growing up the past few years has really taught me the full extent of how I can be both selfish and selfless, and like the ways that I do that, and how I can get better in both of those areas, where I think I should be a little bit selfish right now as it pertains to the certain things that I'm trying to accomplish, and I don't think there's anything wrong or disadvantageous about that. And in the midst of that, I also need to make sure not to get lost or not to forget about the fact that I do still need to focus on my other goals too, as far as like, charity and being helpful to others and uplifting other people and doing what I can to be a light to other people instead of another source of darkness in this already very, very dark world. That's really important to me. It's just, uplifting people and gassing people up and letting them know, hey, anything you want in this world, anything you want to accomplish, you can accomplish it. As long as you believe in yourself and the power of friendship and all that other anime nonsense. So it's definitely a goal of mine to get better with that as well. Just in general. I'm really starting to enjoy this time of year again, and again, certain lessons I've learned, certain people I've met, certain avenues that I've gone down, both positive and negative, have all kind of shaped that journey into where I am now, where no matter what comes or what goes, or whom comes or goes, I really am just starting to grow more and more content. Satisfied, not necessarily, because there's always more to do and there's always more I want to do and always more ways I want to grow. I can say that I am content, though, and I'm learning how to be content with where I'm at, what I've learned, what I have accomplished. Like, I feel like I'm starting to get really good at striking a balance between being content with those things, but then also not satisfied in the sense of, oh, how can I do better? How can I do more? How can I take this feeling of contentment and improve it? Or how can I improve, my relationships with people? Just in general, content, but always wanting to still do better at the same time. And for what I hope and what I truly feel are the right reasons at this point. So that's where I'm at with that. Long story short, Christmas good. I like this time of year. I hope you guys do too. To my people out there, definitely check on people, especially the people who you're like, oh, they're the happy person. There's a lot of happy people who do unhappy things to themselves and when they're by themselves. Definitely check on those people. Just in general, check on people. It doesn't have to be even anything super in depth. Like sometimes just as much as asking people, how are you really, or how are you for real? Because it's a social conditioning thing where it's like if someone asks how you are or how's it going, you have to just say, oh, I'm fine. What about you? And most of us are not fine out here. Not on a consistent basis, at least. So definitely check on people. Definitely be open to hearing some of the things they might struggle with. See how you can be sympathetic or supportive of that. Very important. And then also, just in general, outside of just checking on people and being kind and, golden rule type stuff, do unto others as you would have done to you. In addition to that, also just take life as seriously as you need to and only as seriously as you need to. Don't take it too serious. Don't get so caught up in, appearances or even looking dumb, sounding dumb. Like don't let outside factors or stuff that's really not even going to matter in the grand scheme of things stop you from doing what it is that you want to do, or certain things I guess you might feel like you might get judged for, like, oh, what are people going to think? They're going to think whatever they think, and then they're going to move on with their lives because nobody's really focused on anyone but themselves at the end of the day. And the quicker you realize that, the more freeing life becomes in general. So keep that in mind. And yeah, just do whatever you can to enjoy the seasons and whatever holidays you celebrate. Spend time with people. Let people know, how you feel about them. That, that they're important to you and that they matter and, all that good stuff. And yeah, just don't be jackasses. That's just in general. That's good life advice for Christmas and any time of year. Make it Christmas every day of the year by not being a jackass to people, unless they deserve it or it's funny, like really funny, not like chuckles, like hysterically funny. I'm gonna get off of here before I say something irresponsible. But yeah, just wanted to give a quick little Christmas blurb. Now I'm off to go sing DMX's rendition of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer a minimum of 6 times. Okay. Love you too. Goodbye.